Well, memories of Hilaire Belloc, it's my eldest brother, who must have been 12, 13, or that sort of age. When we, because when Mum only had a widow's pension, so Mum needed money. And Brother Tom went to work there before school to lay the fire and clean his shoes and any other little jobs. And he used to walk all the way down from Netherwoods, which is quite a way. Well, it's 3 miles altogether, cutting across fields. And one day Belloc said to him, "Where do you live?" And he said, "Oh, Netherwoods." Oh, he said, "You come past a natural spring called Abraham's Well." He said, "You couldn't bring me 2 wine bottles of water, could you?" So Brother Tom, being honest, he done that. He done that for about a week. He's cutting across the fields up there. And he thought, well, I'm not doing this every day. So on his way across the fields, there was a water trough, cattle trough. So he used to leave the bottles at night after he'd been back there and fill them up the next morning and take them down. And I don't think Belloc was any wiser. And I can remember, because the eldest boy, when it came to your age or whatever, they always used to, children used to take money to school to save for saving stamps and put them in a book. And sometimes it was your duty to take the money down to the local post office and bring the stamps back. And I can always remember him walking down to the post office with his big cape and his big hat over his head and walking down to the post office. Yeah.
Did you speak to him ever?
No, I don't think I did. But I spoke to his daughter, Mrs. Jebb, and she was a very nice person. In fact, Brother Tom used to do a lot of work later on, and then when he became a builder, he built several bits and painted the place out. And on one of the doorposts down there was all the heights of the children as they were growing up. And Mrs. Jebb said, "Whatever you do, you don't paint that doorpost." So all that, whether it's still there or not, I don't know. But Belloc gave Christmas parties for the local children. The only thing I can remember about that is getting an apple and an orange. For where he got the oranges from, I do not know. But during the war, the Home Guard used to meet there.
At Kingsland?
At Kingsland. They used to meet at the village hall and then go down to Kingsland. And there was, where the new house is, there was a cart lodge. And my brother pulled that down to build a new house. And there was still a lot of the old bottles of Molotov cocktails and all that sort of thing stored around the back. I can remember, well, this is quite later on, when they dedicated the windmill, they'd done the windmill up. And Beachcomber, who was
yeah, H.B. Morton.
Yeah, he came down to open it as a memorial to Belloc. I can remember that. And they also had an aircraft, a light aircraft, crash right in front of it. And Mrs. Jebb was most upset because the pilot had died.
Did you have anything to do with the Jebbs?
Only through Mrs. Little, who was very friendly with Mrs. Jebb. And Rex, her husband, he was one of his claims to fame, I suppose, was being an umpire at Wimbledon. And he was a headmaster at Banbury or one of the big schools up there. Yeah, very very intelligent man.
The Jebbs were still there in the early 80s.
Yeah, so it must have been in the 90s, late 90s. Well, I don't think any of her children wanted to stay there.
They didn't want it.
No.
And he did, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think he was more sort of patriotic to the family, I think. But I know there's a room down there, whether it's still there or not, because if you look at it, it's still the old shop fascia there. As you look at it, on the left-hand side, there was a bedroom there that Belloc had for his wife, and it's still not altered, or it wasn't, because I went down, because I was chairman of the parish council, and I went down. Charlie wanted planning permission for this new house, and I went down and he showed me all around.